Lindsay Chrisley on Tricky Chance. Her boyfriend might want Dad Todd's blessing to propose amid prison stint. The Chrisley Knows Best alum admitted that her boyfriend Trent would likely fall more on the traditional side when it comes to a possible proposal. Lindsay Chrisley is opening up about potentially getting engaged to her boyfriend Trent amid her parents Todd and Julie's prison sentences, and why it would be tricky. On the latest episode of her Southern Tea podcast, the 33-year-old Chrisley Knows Best alum reflected on how her boyfriend, who she went Instagram official with last month, would ask for her hand in marriage with Todd behind bars. "It's a tricky situation with my parents being incarcerated," she shared. "What would that even look like? How do you even approach that? How many visits would be appropriate to do that?" Lindsay Chrisley debuts new boyfriend Trent as source says she's happier than she's ever been. She continued, "I mean, you don't just sign up and go to a weekend visit and be like, 'Hey, by the way, nice to meet you. I want to marry your daughter.' Like, to me, that's not appropriate. So like, how would you handle that situation? I don't know." Lindsay added that she believes her beau would likely fall more on the traditional side when it comes to a proposal despite her parents' prison stints. In November 2022, Todd and his wife Julie, 50, were sentenced to a combined 19 years in prison for financial crimes. Todd began his 12-year sentence at Florida's federal prison, Camp Pensacola, in mid-January, on the same day as Julie started her 7-year sentence at Federal Medical Center in Lexington, Kentucky. They're currently in the process of appealing their case. Lindsay Chrisley confirms she has a new boyfriend, and her ex-husband Will is also seeing someone. On the podcast, the former reality star also opened up about what she would do differently when it comes to tying the knot again. After her first marriage to ex-husband, Will Campbell, ended in divorce. "I think you also have to consider my situation. If I got remarried, and there are children that are involved," she said of her son Jackson. "I don't have a second chance to mess up again. And not to say that you know that I got a free pass the first time because I went through one divorce. If you go through 2 divorces, the problem is likely you. But 2 divorces is just not something that I really want on my rap sheet," she added. "And so that's why I would do some of these things just completely different. And I feel like moving into a new place and a new marriage with kids and it being new for everyone and everyone having their own personal space within that space would be the way to do it." She added that she wouldn't live with someone before marriage as she did with her ex-husband. Never miss a story. Sign up for People's free daily newsletter to stay up to date on the best of what POPLE has to offer. From juicy celebrity news to compelling human interest stories. I feel like I lived with Will before marriage when we were in college, and we lived together pretty much all through college, post-college through engagement, and then marriage, so like nothing really changed. And while I think there's some benefits of that, I also feel like everything was just the same, she explained. So there was no separation between what marriage actually should be and what we were already doing, and I would just not do that again. I just think that it takes away a lot of the excitement and the newness and the settling in and the becoming one. So I just wouldn't do it again. I would focus my time on premarital counseling because that's something that I did not do, which I should have done when I got married to Will, and I would want it to be biblically based. That's very important to me. Marriage wasn't always in the cards for Savannah Chrisley's parents, Todd and Julie Chrisley. On the latest episode of her podcast, Unlocked with Savannah Chrisley, the 25-year-old Chrisley Knows Best star revealed that Julie initially refused to marry Todd after getting pregnant with the couple's oldest child, Chase, now 27. "I think of my mom in her early 20s when she got pregnant with Chase, so my older brother, who's 14 months older than me," Savannah shared. "My dad had just come off a divorce. He had 2 kids, and my mom was the preacher's daughter in a small one-stoplight town in South Carolina. Preacher's daughter. Everyone knew everyone." Savannah Chrisley questions having kids of her own amid caring for niece and brother at 25. Savannah said Julie was reluctant to tie the knot following Todd's split from ex-wife Teresa Terry, with whom he shares daughter Lindsay Chrisley and son Kyle Chrisley. "She got pregnant, and she told my dad, she was like, 'I'm not marrying you. This is my baby. I'm gonna raise my baby. If you want to be involved in his life, you can, but I'm raising my child,' she explained.